And as I mentioned before, we have an interview with Mr. Calvin Mendez. Good morning to you, Mr. Mendez. How are you today?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Up with the weather?
Oh, boy.
Right, because I know you're running a bit late. A lot of people actually, because Karen just said, she just passed Barrett area, so she's also a bit late. No fault of hers, just the weather just crazy on the outside.
Well, once you get a bit of rain traffic all over.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true that for you. But there's some things that we have control over, right?
That's
like
right.
Retirement plan. That's right. So Mr. Mendez is here from Guardian Life. And he's going to tell us about something that, when you're young and carefree, something that we don't think about.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're thinking, man, I have real years before I reach 60 or retirement age. And before you know it, you get up one day and realize, like, OMG, I'm going to clock 40 this year.
Where did the time go,
Where did the time go? And when you look at your savings or the things that you've acquired, you just tell yourself, I probably didn't do enough. And what things do I have in place now for retirement plans? So I think it's always advisable, and because I've had a chat with some of your reps, and they say the younger you start, the better it is.
The better you are for you.
Especially with the changing economy and cost of living going up. So the $100 or the $200 that you would have put aside 15, 20 years ago may not be sufficient.
May not be sufficient
at this time around.
Yeah.
So you're talking about when people start thinking about retirement, what are some of the things that you need to be taken into consideration?
Well, the first thing you need to take into consideration is your standard of living. Right. Retirement planning, and that's why we call it a retirement plan, is to make sure that you actually have a proper plan in place. So it's never just you start a plan today and you never look at it and leave it until age 65, which is the kind of retirement age that we look at. It's about constantly reviewing it and making sure, just as you say, the $200 you put away 5-10 years ago, you don't just leave it and don't look at it. You have to continue to look at it.
You can increase
it, right? So once you look at your standard of living, retirement planning is about making sure that you maintain that standard of living when you retire. Because what you would find is a lot of people, as you probably know a few, that retire to a second job because they don't have a choice. Because the pension that they have, or the pension that they don't have, they have no choice. They're not eligible to work again in certain companies, but they actually have to go out and find something else to do because they need to live. Right? Now, with your retirement plan, you need to make sure that your pension basically have 100% salary replacement ratio.
Right.
So if you're making $10,000 when you retire, your pension should be at least $10,000.
Right, I understand that. I mean, especially for those people might think here about, well, the NIS might cover that, but that is just so...
That's right, that's right. I mean, we've heard a lot of things in the media, not just in the media, in Parliament, about where NIS is right now. I mean, basically government needs to do some stuff with NIS, need to top it up, so we're not too sure how long NIS will be around.
Correct. I mean, if you're like me, because I have a challenge with them, because they consider personalities like you're self-employed. So that means you have to see about your own stuff. And when I go, they say, well, we don't have any provisions for self-employed people.
No,
so we definitely need a retirement plan.
That's right.
And some people are not even aware of that.
They're not aware of it.
And all they think that I'm going to grow old, I'm going to get old, and I'll just collect a pension from the government.
It doesn't
but then
look
you
like
hear people say, well, a little bit of money, we can't pay rent, we can't do this, we can't survive on that.
That's right.
But then you have the opportunity now, whilst you're young, to start your
And that's the thing, you're never too young, I mean, you find people that they just started working and they say, well, listen, just as you said, I mean, oh my God, I have 40 years to work again. Why don't you just think about retirement? The way it works, the younger you are, the more money you will have. So the less you have to put out. Correct. Because you could save little bit, but you have a longer time. Because what we have found is that there are people now in your 40s, 45, and realize, well, hey, I have 20 years again, or I have 15 years to work again, and I have nothing in place. And that becomes their sole investment, their sole, right now, that's all they think about is making sure they have enough money in their pension, in their annuities, to provide them with a pension.
Especially with lifestyle changes, especially, and you see the rise of lifestyle diseases, all these things we need to take into consideration. So how does insurance factor into planning for retirement? People usually need insurance and medical reasons as a financial buffer for unprecedented death.
Now, insurance is very important. I mean, insurance was actually, that's our flagship product, right? We are a life insurance company at Guardian. So in life insurance is important, critical illness insurance important, health insurance is very important.
Especially dental.
Right, especially your dental.
Because dental is very expensive.
Yeah, very, very, very expensive. And medicals continue. The cost of taking care of yourself is actually continuing to go up. Now, but a lot of the times, while we put those things in place, we kind of toss the retirement planning to the side. And it's just as important, if not more important. I mean, we have a saying that you could live too long, die too soon, or become critically ill, right? Any one of those three things could happen to us during our work life. And having a retirement plan in place now is just a nice, I don't want to say a buffer, but I mean, you want to make sure that when you retire, you're comfortable. You want to travel. You want to see the world. I mean, we have a saying that when you retire, like currently, the amount of money we spend right now, the most money we spend right now is probably on a Friday and a Saturday, right?
Tell me about it.
Right. When you retire, every day is Friday and Saturday.
Correct. I agree with that. Nice white powdery sands, turquoise water,
That's
sipping.
right.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world.
That's right.
You know,
that's
so that's
right.
it. I wanted to always ask, you know, we speak about, you know, starting young, but what about something like for children? Because when you think about children, you're not thinking retirement, you're thinking college fund, you're thinking school. But is there something in place that you say, you know what, I'll probably start a college fund differently, but I want to set them up for life. So it's not necessarily like insurance.
Yeah, you know, we do have, all that kind of comes into educational planning, where you could build a fund. Now, what you could choose the fund for, well, you do it, you do it for you, for the child, through you. And you can choose what you want to use the money for. Now, we can help you. Once you sit down with your guardian advisor, you can explain that to him or her and tell them, well, listen, this is what I want to do. And we can help you set up that fund. And part of it, you can say, one part of it is for education. And then when they finish education, tertiary education, of course, I would like to want to give them a lump sum, a startup. And at that point in time, you could choose what they want that money for. I mean, I have had clients who say, well, listen, I want to put aside money for education, but also when the child finishes education, I want my child to be an entrepreneur. So I want them to be able to start their own business. So I want to put aside money so they can do that. So they could start their own business, or I say, listen, let me just keep that money away for them. Let me watch how they manage themselves and how they operate, and maybe I can give it to them, maybe I could give them some, maybe I could. So there are a lot of things we could do there. I mean, annuities are, I love annuities. They're the bomb, right? You can use annuities. They're very flexible. You can use them for anything, right? Even when you're putting aside money for retirement, any annuities, it is tax deductible. You can save you can write off up to $50,000 a year.
That is wonderful.
And that's a huge dent in your tax bill.
So we're just, listeners, we're just going a little bit over Karen's time, considering that she's not here just yet. So
sorry, Karen.
Well, no, it is 9 o'clock in Trinidad and Tobago. Just a quick time check for you. What are some of the major considerations people need to have when future planning?
I would always say you must always, when you're looking for your future, especially with retirement planning, no matter how you look at it, we could turn it any way you take it. You see your standard of living. I mean, unfortunately, when you look at a lot of, and this is nothing against the security business, a lot of security guards, there's a lot of older people. Because really and truly, they can't really find anything else to do. So when you're planning, you definitely take all those things in consideration, you know. Even from a business perspective, what is my exit strategy for my business? How do I plan to exit my business? You're building a business, you want to leave it for your kids. Okay, how do you plan to exit? Do you plan to stay in your business and then paying yourself a salary while your kids doing all the work? Or do you want to just exit, make sure you put aside some money now, the business is paid for you, so that you now have a pension on your own, so that you can go off and leave the business for the kids. Also, your exit strategy from your job. How do you plan to leave your job? Right? I mean, there are a lot of pension funds right now. People think they have a pension and work, but pension funds, you can only retire on 2/3 of your final income. Now, if you ask anybody as it is right now, if I cut your salary by a third, I mean, that's going to definitely affect your standard of living. So you need to make sure that when you retire, that's what I said earlier on, you have to have that 100% salary replacement ratio. So you need to take that into consideration. You need to take your cost of living into consideration. Always factor in inflation into it, because the amount of money, let's say a basket of goods that you can pay for now, if you're spending $5,000 on groceries now, I mean, in 10 years' time, you may be spending $7,000. I mean, who would think right now, I mean, thinking back, I mean, I like to think of myself a relatively young gentleman, but who would think you would be paying $15 for a loaf of bread?
Correct.
No. I mean, and who knows what's going to be in 5 years' time? It might be 20.
Could be more, you're right.
It could be a lot more.
How do annuities work, though? I mean, are there savings? Do clients have access to their funds? Or do you have to wait for it to mature? Do you have to wait a certain age? So if I'm like, say I'm 35 and I know I have it until 60. Do I say one day, like, you know what, I think I just need money, I need to go in and just get this money. Am I allowed to take it out?
No. Well, let me just say that you're not allowed. When annuities were designed, I mean, and they come from the Insurance Act, the government put things in place. So while they're giving you the opportunity to have it as a tax write-off. If you try to break your annuity or as we say, surrender it before retirement, the government takes back their 25%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
If you save $100,000, I mean, and you want to get that money, you know, 25,000 going to the government, 75,000 coming to you. But that only applies if you're breaking it and you're not taking it as a pension before.
Matures, right.
Yeah. So it's not a savings plan to say, well, you could dip into it in case of emergencies.
Right.
Retirement, you should never, when you're touching retirement, you should never interfere.
Yeah, because you don't want to dip in that bucket. It's gone.
That's it, it's gone. Now, annuities are the only form of investments that will give you a guaranteed income at retirement. It's the only form.
But when it comes to your annuity, do you say, okay, so I'm at 60, and like, you know what, my fund has my annuities matured. Do I go in and say, listen, I want a monthly installment, or am I allowed to take the entire thing?
No, well, you have two retirement options. When at retirement at 65 or 60, whichever age you choose, well, actually you can retire between ages of 50 and 70. Right? You come to us, the insurance company, after you sit with your guardian advisor and we work out the plan and work out how much you need to pay, how much you need to have at retirement. So when retirement comes now, we will now say you have the option to take a full monthly pension or 25% of the total fund. So let's say your fund grew to $1 million, which is highly likely. We'll give you $250,000 cash in your hand and a reduced monthly pension, guaranteed for life, increasing at the rate of inflation, whatever inflation is, so your pension never loses its buying power.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
So listeners, if you're now joining us, we're just chatting a bit with Mr. Calvin Mendez. He is one of the reps from Guardian Life. Is you a rep or are you? I'm a
branch manager.
The branch manager, okay.
So I'm a branch manager. They should run this branch.
So basically, the more that you put in, the bigger your fund will grow.
That's right.
And
the more you put in.
To start very early.
The earlier you are, the younger you are, the less you have to put in, the bigger your fund will be.
Right. And I think that, you know, as young people, we should not take life for granted because we don't know where things, how things will swing.
Exactly. You don't know how it goes. I mean, don't think that when you're in your 40s or in your 50s, then you start to save. And that's when you go into crisis management. And you'd find people, we have clients putting almost half their income because they're in their late 40s and realize that they don't have much time again. So they forget everything else and they now start to make sacrifices to make sure
they
have something inside. So I try to tell the younger people that come in your 20s, put aside the $200 a month, the $300 a month. It will help you down
and
the road.
You're right, because the money that we would go and spend at every Friday we lime in and
exactly.
all over.
We probably spend that every weekend.
And live long. And you can live longer when you have some money to spend because you don't want, let me tell you, I mean, this is just probably out of the box of my way, but this is always something to think about. back in the day, you know, think people, they would have children as some means of insurance because they think as you get older, your children will take care of you. But now in the modern world, all you may get from your children, if you get a video call or a call, you'll be lucky. Because just now, they put you in retirement home and that's it. And you may have to, and you hear people say, well, you know, I work, I had so hard, I sacrificed my children, they don't care about me, nobody even come and give me a cent when the month come.
Yeah, or they migrate and they live here.
So the time is now. I want you to pick up your phone today or get in contact with any one of our 600 advisors. You can, if you don't have an advisor, you can contact us at 226-MY-GG, and they will put you onto any one of our branches. We have over 15 branches located throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So feel free to contact us. I mean, I am I'm the branch manager, one of the branches at the Shoguanas branch. Is there a site that we can go? Is there a website?
Can go to www.myguardiangroup.com, and you can, again, you will see all of our branches there, and you could say you want to be contacted and you want an advisor to contact you, right? Or contact your own advisor. We have made some upgrades to our current annuity plans. We have a new plan. It's called our Life Secure Plan. Feel free to reach out to your advisor about this new plan that we have. Excellent plan.
Great.
Very, very modern.
I know I always batting for my women out there. So ladies, as I tell you, if you're in a relationship or you're going into a marriage, don't take for granted that the man is going to save money for you. You might think, well, you know, he have an annuity and I might be the beneficiary in case something happens. I think if you both invest separately and you both have your own annuities, the quality of life is going to be so much better.
So much better.
Handle your business and get your annuity.
Yeah.
Right? I just saying, just in case.
Just in case.
Right. You know what the old people say? There's not where it is, but here it is.
Here it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mendez, such a pleasure chatting with you this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
This was a very enlightening conversation.
Yeah. And there are many more. There's so much more. It's not, and there's so much more. But I mean, reach out to your guardian advisor. We'll be happy to help you sit down and do your plan. And free, we give you a free financial checkup. You don't have to worry about paying for that. And we make recommendations for you.
That's wonderful. So I had a wonderful time with you this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Rainy on the outside. Yes. And I think my plan for the rest of the day, I'm going home and make a nice batch of nice homemade bread with some nice bread and cheese, a cup of tea.
God, that sounds good.
And get in my bed all day today. My work day has officially wrapped up. Have yourselves a good one.
My day just started.
Karen coming up at the top. Please feel free to stay with us. So much more to share with you on the inside. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks again.